Hello, 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 hello. What's up, everybody? Guy here, Guy Haberman, and glad you're here. It is YouTube Live. It is YouTube later. It is podcast feed, which is down in the description, or you're listening to it. Thank you. And it's week one, and it's been crazy. I mean, 6 days for the 49ers that have been an absolute roller coaster. Last Thursday, Brandon Aiyuk ends his long hold in and signs. People think, all right, the things are moving in the right direction. Then Saturday, Ricky Pearsall, in a terrifying situation, gets shot at Union Square. And there's a period of time where you don't know, is he going to be okay? What does stable mean exactly in this situation when you've suffered a gunshot wound to your chest? Where to his chest? And then it turns out things are going really well for him, all things considered, right? He's out of the hospital the next day, and it seems like there's some real optimism with him. And then Tuesday morning around 1 a.m. or so is when it happened. Trent Williams is on his way back to the Bay Area at last report, and is going to get signed. He's going to get a deal done. The deal is not done. I saw Mike Garafolo say, by the time you're watching or listening to this later, the deal may very well be announced. Mike Garafolo of the NFL Network tweeted, X'd on Tuesday morning that after everyone saw the post by Trent Williams' brother that he's about to get on the plane, him and his big old dog are getting on a plane. And then his agency posted, deals are about to get done, whatever the agency posted. Garafolo said it's not done, like sign, but it's close enough. He talked to the agent. Agent said, we're just crossing some T's and dotting some I's. Well, that's not exactly what the agent said. The agent said there's a few things, but we're close enough that it's worth getting on the plane. Because I did go to bed last night thinking, all right, we're less than a week away from the Monday night opener. Matt Mayoko of the Matt Mayoko YouTube channel said that Trent Williams is going to play Monday Night Football less than a week against the Jets. The Niners are going to have a practice on Tuesday. You know, everything's moved back a little bit. Ravens and Chiefs play on Thursday. And so the fact that it's Monday Night Football maybe gave them a little extra time. Anybody that was a bit of a study procrastinator or maybe still is a procrastinator for whatever reason knows the more time you give, the longer you'll wait. So if the Niners were playing Thursday, maybe this deal would have been done last Friday. I don't know, but it looks like the deal is not. It looks like the deal is about to be done. The deal's about to be done. So, you know, now it appears on paper like they're mostly the 49ers. You know, who knows what would have happened? How would things have been different if Ricky Pearsall had been shot on Wednesday instead of Saturday? What would that have meant for Brandon Aiyuk? You know, I mean, I don't want to talk about, especially now, maybe in a few days or maybe in a few weeks or maybe when he's back, to talk about Ricky but in any way about football. But the reality is, as uncomfortable as that feels or wrong sometimes as it might feel, that the team has to think about it and talk about it that way. Imagine if they, you know, traded Aiyuk and then Ricky Pearsall suffers this terrible thing. So that didn't happen. You know, there were a lot of worst case scenarios. The Niners offseason was a combination of worst case scenarios not coming true, whether it was just a football worst case scenario, right? Or a real life worst case scenario with Ricky Pearsall. The last week, the last month, I mean, this is a bizarre offseason. And, you know, I hesitate to even call the last week is not really it's the games haven't started, but it's not really the offseason either. I mean, the players are getting a little time off. Shanahan's with Rick Ross, but the season is here. So, you know, it was just a wild situation. I know the Ricky thing is particularly sensitive. I have some real thoughts about it. There have been takes flying all over the place that have nothing to do with Ricky, but I don't know. We'll see how I feel. I may leave that for another time. Thank God. I mean, just thank God. You know, I can't imagine. I will say this though. There are things that are not takes that are just real human things. So he's out of the hospital after, basically 24 hours. And you go, oh, everyone move. Okay, thank goodness. All right, move on. I can't forget about for a second. Well, maybe don't forget about it. The physical trauma, right? Just the actual damage to your body, the pain, all of that stuff. The mental trauma of not just like being robbed or being shot, but specifically lying on the concrete, wondering, am I going to die? Right? Your heart is, and I saw some of the quotes from the police officer. I can't even imagine. Like, that's the thing that I keep thinking about Ricky is like, is he just remembering, like, that moment was real. That was not a dream that you just woke up from. That was a real thing. You know how you feel when you wake up from a crazy dream and your heart's racing, your mind's racing, you're just like wide awake. What about when it's real? I mean, so it's easy after the fact to be like, oh, it turned out to be fine, or it missed any vital organs. Oh, that's great. You don't know that when you're laying there. And that feeling, like, does that just go away? So, man, amazing for him. That's in its own category, separate from Trent Williams is back, Brandon Aiyuk is back. It'll be a moment. Ricky Pearsall will be back, right? Now he's on the football news of it is he's on the non-football injury list. He has to be out 4 weeks. The earliest that means he can return is their week 5 game. That's October 6th against the Arizona Cardinals. Then October 13th, week 5 is October 6th, all over the place. Birthday weekend. But so that's the earliest he could return. So we'll see. I'm sure there'll be updates, I don't know if there'll be updates immediately, but updates at some point soon that have some more other, football-ish details, which will be great. Like, it'll be great to get to football with Ricky Pearsall. It'll be an amazing thing. And I don't know what it means for, like how quickly till he recovers and then gets back to football ready. But anyway, the news of the day, though, being Trent Williams, we still got I was with a few people this weekend with some of you may know or caught some of the Oregon-Idaho football game on Big Ten Network, which I called. And for every game, you have a spotter. I travel around with these guys. They're a spotter and a statistician. And my spotter's name is Grayson. And the statistician is a guy named Jack. And Jack is a college student. And Jack plays multiple fantasy teams at once and was having draft after draft after draft. He had back-to-back drafts during our Friday night crew dinner. And he said McCaffrey was going 1. I know McCaffrey's going at the top of a lot of your drafts. Calf strain. Maybe it'll heal now that his boy Trent Williams is back, but that'll be an important piece of news on Tuesday. Christian McCaffrey back out, running around, feeling good. The Niners, it's like Monday Night Football is going to be here in less than a week. They play the Jets. Are they all going to be able to play for a whole game? Is Trent Williams going to play every snap? I think so. Some of you may have heard longtime NFL offensive lineman and now writer and analyst Jeff Schwartz on the show recently. He said that you need like a week and a half. That's about it. So he's not getting a week and a half, but Trent Williams is a freak, so maybe he needs a little less than other guys need. Is McCaffrey going to be full go? Right? You don't have the guy that Kyle trusts out there, Elijah Mitchell, to back him up. And then Aiyuk, to me, is like, how much can he go? He plays very hard, running sprints. It's a lot of running. It's a lot of running with an adrenaline level that is different, right? The Aiyuk adrenaline level on Monday night is going to be different than the adrenaline level he got going. And even if all his workout times say he's right on track, is a preseason game the same as a real game? No, but it does give you more than practice does in terms of just How much energy do you expend? How quickly do you recover? You run a route, you block 3 times. That's very, very, very physically demanding. And then the other thing is you want to be careful. Like you don't want to overextend Aiyuk and have him strain a hamstring or something like that. So, I would think they're going to manage him a little bit on Monday night. Which, you know what? Fine. Let's see a little. You got Debo, you got Juwan Jennings. Let's see a little Ricky Pearsall. I mean, you probably really. I'm sure he really wants Aiyuk, that is, and I'm sure the Niners would love to go get him 180 yards receiving and 9 catches and 3 touchdowns. Uh, it's not really a Niner receiver line, but I'm sure that's what they'd love to do. To make everybody feel good about the contract, right? And there's a lot of temptation to do that, but that's probably not the smartest thing, and you shouldn't have to do it. But there are, just as you start this thing, some questions. How's Christian? How's Trent? How's Aiyuk? How's the team? Their teammate got shot, but they're glad he's okay. So how's the team, right? How's everybody fitting back together? How's Kyle and Aiyuk? They were together the other night. That was great to see. Water under the bridge. Everybody move on. All right, cool. So all's well that ends well, I guess. It's very reminiscent of the time that I had a biology project due, and the project was pin 20 bugs onto this board. You had 2 months, I don't know, a month to do it. And if you do it by yourself, you got to do 20 bugs. If you do it with another person, you got to do 30 bugs. So I took my 11 bugs to Paul Majestic and said, Paul, you got 20. You want to combine projects? And Paul had no reason to do it because he had his 20. He didn't need to combine a project and have 31, but he did it. And I was like, it all worked out. Wasn't the best operation, though. It was not something you'd want to do again. It was not a teach tape in biology A's. And, you wonder, like, is that this? Like, it worked, but do you kind of feel like you're getting away with something? You kind of scam the system. You try to scam the system too much, and you're going to get bit. So it looks fine on paper right now. Trent's back. Aiyuk's back. It's all right. Well, it should be fine. It should be fine, but it'll really feel right when you're watching them on Monday night, putting up 28 points on the Jets or something like that. Question from Gabriel: why does everyone keep counting Conley out? I don't know if anyone's counting him out. I mean, he's one of the receivers on this team. He has a role to play, and he's been very good in that role. Last year, the role was very limited, but when given the opportunity, he stepped up in a big way. At the end of the season, he looked really good. In the Super Bowl, he looked really good. I think I've talked a lot about this word that I learned while I was covering the A's several years ago as it relates to sports, overexposure, right? Like, and maybe from that standpoint, Gabriel's saying I am counting him out. Overexposure being when you take a player who's got a really good role and then you try to take it further, and now you're asking somebody to do too much, right? But I think he's a reliable player. I think he's going to be in the right place at the right time. He's tough. He's a special teams contributor. But it's better to have Brandon Aiyuk. Now, is Conley going to get more snaps Monday night than he would have otherwise? Maybe, probably. Is he ready for that? Yes, definitely. But you'd rather have Brandon Aiyuk on the field. So, I don't take that as counting him out. I just think he's I think he's to be a championship team in any sport, you need really trustworthy, talented, reliable, mentally tough, physically tough role players. Every team that wins the championship has two things: great players, role players. Bad teams, Many bad teams have great players with no role players. Some bad teams have a bunch of role players with no great players. Those teams are usually kind of solid, you know? I think the NBA is the clearest way to talk about rosters because the rosters are small and you can so easily categorize players. And I always say bad NBA teams have no role players. It's just a bunch of, for the most part, just a bunch of guys trying to get theirs. And that doesn't work. That doesn't work in the NFL. There's 11 players on every play on your team, but you need so much more than that. And even for a roster, the Niners have the best roster in the league, or one of the best, or whatever it is, one of the most talented rosters in the league. And they are star studded. But if you only had your stars, you would have literal holes in your, like, truly not enough players. So you need really good role players. And it's not overlooking or underestimating Chris Conley if you first acknowledge role players are critical, truly critical to winning a championship, and he's a good role player on their team. So some people see that as a backhanded compliment. I do not. I think it is. It's not. I do not. Some people see it as a backhanded compliment. It is not. It is an absolute fact of sports. You must have good role players if you want a chance. And he is that. He's absolutely that. And they may need him on Monday Night Football against the Jets. So I'm excited to see him. I'm a big fan of his. I think his special teams work and his reliability. Plus, I've talked with him. We were both at different points. We just missed each other. Our dads were both Air Force, Incirlik Air Force Base in Turkey. We were both there, in the news, by the way. Hey, really exciting. Now that week 1 is here, I'm fired up about this. I hope you guys dive into this. And if you've been thinking about it, great way to support the show. Let me tell you that we are partnered up here on the Guy Haberman Show, or Hey Guy. Guy Haberman Show sounds good coming out. I don't like it as much in print. I think I've got a new. Anyway, Prize Picks code HAM. I've got some picks that I'm going to share with you that I'm very excited about. Prize Picks. Did I say code HAM? That's not correct. See, I was on autopilot there. John's not getting credit on this one. Code Guy. Prize Picks code Guy. Oh, I got to edit that one out of the old audio podcast. Prize Picks code Guy. And I am making picks. I've already made some picks. I'm fired up about these picks. You sign up with code Guy. You play a $5 lineup, and you'll get $50 instantly just for playing. Okay, so you just go to Prize Picks, or you download the app, use the code Guy to sign up, deposit $5 or more, place your first lineup. You'll immediately get $50 in promo funds. They'll appear in your account right away, and then you just get off and playing. I love playing Prize Picks because I like playing fantasy. I like having fantasy to follow during my day, but I don't like spending hours on it. I don't have hours to spend on it. Prize Picks is great. I've made multiple lineups within like minutes, seconds, less than 60 seconds. I'm making lineups. It's the most fun I've had playing fantasy. There's no question about it. Quick withdrawals, easy gameplay, ton of options. And so I am sharing some of my lineups. These are the lineups I've made. We'll see how these go. Okay. I've got a few things here. Actually, I want to show you some of these. One of these I did heavy research on, and one of these is I'm going on feel. Okay. So here's a few that I think are fun for me. I've got Brock Purdy more than 5.5 rushing yards on Monday Night Football. All right. I've got Caleb Williams. This was an easy one. Sometimes they'll give you like a free one, and that's this. Caleb Williams over half a passing yard. Might as well throw that one into the mix. Amari Cooper revenge game on deck. Amari more than 57.5 receiving yards against the Dallas Cowboys on Sunday afternoon. This is the Tom Brady game. Okay, Niners play on Monday, so I'm going to be locked in Sunday to all this other stuff. Tom Brady revenge game, Amari Cooper revenge game, Brady revenge game too. 57.5 more for Amari. And I got Brandon Aiyuk. I wrestled with this. I'll have some more for Monday night's game later in the week. But I decided, I was like, everyone's going to expect Aiyuk to go off. It's kind of tailor-made for Aiyuk to kind of struggle. But I decided that there's no fun in that. And so I went more than 54 and a half receiving yards for Brandon Aiyuk there. All right. So that one is 4 picks, $20 to win 200. This one is this one involves Thursday night football. Okay. I've got Patrick Mahomes less than 22 and a half rushing yards. He averages 10 rush yards per game in his career against the Ravens. I don't see this defense letting up 20 plus, even with Patrick Queen gone, McDonald gone on that defense. Quarterbacks against the Ravens. No, not against the Ravens. Quarterbacks in general average 16 rush yards per game in 2023. So I'm going less. I think they got a lot of guys they want to spread it to. So I'm going less than 22 and a half rush yards for Mahomes combined with Derrick Henry. More than 76 and a half rush plus receiving yards against the Chiefs. Ravens refused to run the ball in the second half against the Chiefs, the AFC Championship game. Todd Monken is brought there to not make that mistake. He's not making that mistake again. So they're going to run the ball a lot with Derrick Henry. He averaged like 68, 69 rushing yards last year, but I think he's going to be a more efficient runner this year combined with Lamar Jackson. And we're including receiving yards here, whatever that's worth. So I'm going 76.5 more than. And then I love involving kickers. Justin Tucker, more than 1.5 field goals made in this game. He averages 2 a game. Chiefs defense is good. Chiefs last year were 8th in opponent red zone touchdown percentage. Early season, you see scores not going over. So I'll go kickers. Kickers matter here early in the year. More field goal attempts for the best kicker in NFL history. So I'm going more than 1.5 field goals made. And by the way, some of you may have seen this, a quick one, just for fun. Not just for fun. I've added this one. This is 10 to win 30. Season long, I've got Brock. I got a lineup here. Brock more than 38, 199 and a half yards, combined with Lions punter Jack Fox going more than half a passing yard. So everybody watch the Lions every week. And when you see the Lions punt, do not change the channel. Go, oh, are they going to run a fake here? Is Jack Fox going to complete a pass for Haberman? If the answer to that is yes, then I'm going to be feeling pretty good. So great to have Prize Picks on board. Thanks to them for being here. I would love for you guys to, if you're looking for ways, this is a free show. This is a free show. So if you want to support the show, go to Prize Picks and go play because it's fun. And use some of my lineups and give me your lineups. Prize Picks, sign up, go to .com or the app. Use the code GUY. Nothing like getting that one wrong out of the gate. Use the code GUY, GUY. And when you make a $5 play, Prize Picks will put $50 bonus in your account, code GUY, to receive guaranteed $50 once you play $5 in lineups. Prize Picks, daily fantasy sports made easy. All right. Yeah. It really does feel like football season's here. Bo said, because it is. Bo says Brock getting 3,800 by week 14. I feel pretty good about that if he's healthy. A few of you have mentioned, and I appreciate it. Get to some Niner stuff here, but actually, let me get to some Niner stuff here, and then I'll get to some of this other, some of your other takes. Steve says, and this is important this week. What about Jacob Cowing? I think he's proven himself. I feel really good about Jacob Cowing. I think Jacob Cowing is going to be a baller for what he is, which is a rookie, 4th round pick. A lot of responsibility is going to be on Jacob Cowing. He's their punt returner. And I think that Kyle Shanahan has should feel like he's seen enough just to mix Jacob Cowing in right away. Now, Jacob Cowing is still a rookie, and Kyle Shanahan is still Kyle Shanahan. So Kyle Shanahan did say when I asked him about Jacob Cowing, he's like, he's still got some catch up to do. He's got a ways to go. That was a couple of weeks ago. So hopefully he's done some more of the catch up, earned a little more trust. What cannot be denied is that you don't get to carry 5 punt returners on your team. So you can say all you want, well, this guy's got a lot to prove, but you're either putting him back on punt returns or you're not. And if you're putting a rookie back on punt returns on Monday Night Football, week 1, then you're telling us you trust him. Even if you don't want to tell him he's earned all of your trust, you're telling the world you trust the guy if he's your punt returner week 1. And he's going to be their punt returner week 1. And he should be. I've said this many times. For those of you who've missed it, I'll say it again. Not only did he look good in games, but I went out to Levi Stadium multiple times. Well, I guess their practice facility right outside Levi Stadium. On windy days, I watched Jacob Cowing be better than most of the other people and be as good as Trent Taylor in the wind catching punts. So he's got to keep it up. This is going to be a different animal. Monday Night Football, Jets. Monday Night Football, did I mention? Week 1, NFL. But I think he has earned that. Has he proven himself? No, not until you get to games. Yeah, I love when people say like, I trust people till they give me a reason not to. That you can't really do that if you're an NFL coach and you got a rookie. He's got to prove that you can trust him enough to put him in a game. But until you've done it in games, and Jacob Cowing hasn't yet done it in games, until you've done it in games, you haven't yet proven yourself. But that said, I'm optimistic about him. I feel good about him. Seth says, Aiyuk less than 54 yards because the Niners are going to pound the rock to stay away from the Jets secondary. You think they want to go in on Javon Kinlaw and Solomon Thomas? That's who's in there, by the way. Yeah, I think they want some of that, but I don't think 54. We're not asking much. I mean, the guy is Aiyuk going to be 17 yards a catch again this year? That feels like an outlier. I mean, he could be 15 and a half and be worth it and not be the 17 yards per catch that he was last year. So it feels like Aiyuk. I'm very, I like Brandon Aiyuk. I think he's going to be good. I wanted them to resign him. It's very possible we look back and go, yeah, that 2023 yards per catch for Brandon Aiyuk over 17, that was the high water mark. And that might be okay. I mean, it's so high that you can go lower than that and still have a very impactful player. 17.9. It was basically 18. Okay. The year before was 13. Year 2 was 15, 14.8. So I would expect this to be around there, 14.8, 14.2. And that's appropriate enough. So, his catch percentage was 71%. I mean, that's to have almost 18 yards a catch and be 71%. That's the part about him that I think they welcome. But him and Brock get to throw to each other now this weekend for the first time in a while. Comment from Jesse. You were great on Saturday. Enjoyed listening to Call the Duck game. If you didn't see it, some of you might be college football fans. Dylan Gabriel's Oregon's quarterback, and he drives a minivan, which is cool. He does it because he wants to drive his teammates around. It's a really nice, actually, Pacifica Chrysler. Anyway, rode around in it and put that video up on the YouTube page yesterday. If you guys want to check that out, little quick interview. If you're an Oregon fan, I know there are a lot of Oregon fans around here, and it was a lot of fun. It was pretty crazy. They're the number 3 team in the nation. It was a sellout. We had a sky cam, which is the most badass thing ever. You guys know what a sky? Yeah, you guys know what a sky cam is. Basically, like you'll watch Monday Night Football, and they'll have a sky cam. But the Big Ten Network, shout out to the Big Ten Network for deciding to get a sky cam for our crew. on Monday. I thought it was money well spent by them. To do a game with a Skycam is just the coolest thing ever. The Skycam, for those of you, most of you, I'm sure, know, you may not know the name, but you've seen it. It's the camera that flies around the field. And you don't, those things, it's like a 5-man crew. Not like, it is a 5-person crew. And there's 2 pilots. There's a guy that he was sitting behind me. He just drives the thing on the wires. And there's another guy with a joystick who turns the camera to show you different looks and different angles. And it's usually on only the biggest broadcasts, right? It's like your A crew, CBS, ABC, Fox, Gus Johnson, Joel Klatt. They get a Skycam. Guy Haberman don't get a Skycam, but we got a Skycam at Autzen Stadium, and it was just incredible. So, and the thing was, the game was close. Idaho made it very difficult, and that was good for me. If you're wondering what I root for when I'm doing a game, it's a close game. So we got a close game, and I was very happy about that. Oregon fans probably were not happy about that. I was very fired up about that. This week, selfishly, I was fired up again because I'll be at USC. I'll be at USC. And USC just beat LSU. So I don't know. I don't think we got a Skycam again. I'm going to send some text, though. Guys, can we get Skycam back? Can we get Skycam? I was thinking about showing you some of these Skycam videos. If I can, it would take a minute to load it up. But let me answer some questions, and I'll try and load it up and see if we can share that. Let's see here. Let me get this. One second. Let me get this squared away. Let's see if this works. All right. Let me read some questions here. It seems like Brock unlocked Brandon's talent. I don't know why Brandon Aiyuk wouldn't accept a trade. Why he wouldn't accept. I think that's why it seems like Brock unlocked Brandon Ayuk's talent. I think that's why Aiyuk wouldn't accept a trade, whose quarterback is improving. This reminds me, the Albert Breer MMQB breakdown was basically that, plus a few more details. And the details were, that the Steelers contract offer was what I'd said. It was not a massive offer relative to the other offers. They got a deal done with the Patriots. It was basically done. No first rounders, a couple of picks, and Kendrick Bourne. They had a deal in place kind of with the Browns. I mean, not kind of. They did. But as Breer pointed out, it was going to be challenging for the Browns. But it was going to be a couple of picks and Amari. There was not a deal in place with the Steelers. They weren't going to part with a player. The Niners called about 10 other teams to see if they could take some picks, maybe from Pittsburgh, and flip those into a receiver. They couldn't. In the end, Aiyuk had chances to leave, and the Niners had chances to trade him. And guess what? Aiyuk didn't get traded, and he's back. So that was, Breer did a kind of like blow by blow, what every offer was. And, I mean, it doesn't mean that that it wasn't close to happening, but it does feel now like it's a distant memory. Oh, here we go. Can I get Skycam in here?
This is special. 54,000 here participating in Shout. Oh.
All right, there you go. This guy says, "Thank you for indulging me." I love that thing. So cool. Esom asks, how many games did Brian Robinson Jr. miss when he had a similar situation as Ricky, being shot-wise? Was it 6 games? I think he'll be back around the same time. I don't remember, to be honest. I could do a quick Google search here. How many games it was. I mean, the thing I remember about Brian Robinson was that he came running out to 50 Cent. I don't remember. I guess we could connect those things. I'll let a doctor connect those, evaluate the situation, and tell us how quickly he's going to be back. I don't know. But if it does feel like there's optimism there. So sure, it'd be a complete guess by me. When will he be back? I'll leave that to the to somebody to tell us, because it's not just the physical recovery. It's the getting ready again to play football. But so I would imagine Trent signs a contract. He's on the plane early this morning. Was up at about 5:30. And I'm like, damn, Mayoko already has a YouTube up? Mayoko had a YouTube up at 5:50. No. Mayoko knew something was happening before it started getting reported on X, because he said it's close. And then it started happening. So Trent will play. Matt Mayoko has said that Trent Williams is going to play. They're going to get a contract done, and that he's not missing Monday Night Football. So that's great news. All right. That's Tuesday morning. I'm sure there'll be more news today. More news this week. Big week. Thursday night. Don't forget, go to Prize Picks, prizepicks.com. Use my code GUY. When you play your first $5 lineup, you get a $50 bonus in your account. And you can just click down in the description. If you're listening to the podcast, it's in the description. If you are watching the YouTube, you can just click my link in the description. You just take that link and use the code GUY when you sign up there. And put in $5, and you immediately, whether you win it or lose it, you get $50 directly in your account. And you saw my picks. And I'm fired up about that. So it's great to have football season here. It's great to have you all here. It's great to have Prize Picks here. And it's great to have everybody back and healthy. Justin says, need to get Mayoko tips for a better camera setup. I don't know if I do. I kind of like the raw journo that he is. All guts, no glory. No fluff, no BS. Oh, Jesse had a YouTube post at 4:49 a.m. I think that the Trent Williams YouTube, it's Trent Williams Instagram, his brother's Instagram. Is it Fred? I think is his brother's name. Went up around, I think it was like 1:30 a.m. Pacific, maybe something like that. Trent's jumping on a plane around 3, 4, I guess. That's when that post went up. Comment, Trent just didn't want to be at camp. Let's be honest. I mean, Memorial Day ends and Trent's back to work. So maybe there's something to that. All right, everybody. Thanks for being here.